Hey guys, what's going on? It's your favorite, um, disembodied philosopher. If you don't believe me that disembodied philosophers exist, go look up Jeremy Bentham's preserved head at University College London. It's real, bro. Jeremy Bentham's. Um, I'm not sure if they have his entire body or just his head, but either way, man, it's wild. Um, but yeah, anyway, speaking of Jeremy Bentham, today I wanted to talk about a few things. I wanted to talk about hedonism, pleasure seeking, sacrifice, and the pleasure, or I'm sorry, the purpose of life. Um, And so, yeah, I sort of touched on this in one of my videos around 2 years and 1 month ago, where I defended suffering. And, yeah, I mean, as far as hedonism goes, and if you guys don't know what hedonism is just, a philosophy of pleasure seeking. Like that's your main goal in life, to seek pleasure wherever you find it. Um and I just want to make clear, like, guys, I'm not against pleasure. Duh. Of course you should do enjoyable things. I read, I play video games, I watch TV a lot because they're pleasurable to me. But here's what I think making it the central aim of your way of life, uh, as all good philosophies should be, is sort of narrow-minded. Um, and it's sacrifice. Like, if we are simply looking at, um, say for example, one pleasure over here or one pleasure over there, if we spend our lives just chasing that or making that the central aim of our life, like, that doesn't really seem to make sense, at least not to me, in the sense that, like, you know, I can say, for example, well, doing so and so substance is very pleasurable. I get euphoria from it. Doesn't matter which one, take your pick. So I'm gonna do that. Um, or you know what? Um, I don't think I'm gonna ever settle down or or have a family or whatever, or try and care about my community. Which, look, man, like I said, I'm not judging in the sense that it's okay if people feel that way. They're totally entitled to feel that way. But if everyone lived hedonistically, then we just flat out would not have the world we do today. Um, because we need, for example, children to continue on our work as humans. And this is one of the few times where it's like, yeah, it's sort of natural and instinctual for us to feel this way. As it is with all animals, we are animals. In as much as animals also feel pleasures, humans have the the advantage of foresight. Um, right? Like we can plan ahead. We know that making a a sacrifice now can lead to better things in the future. Um, which is why, in a sense, I guess I'm I'm less aligned with like classic. I don't even know if this is a term, but that's what I'm gonna call it. Like classical, utilitarianism. The utilitarianism of Jeremy Bentham, where you use pleasure-seeking calculus and like you see what's the best for for the greatest number of people and stuff like that. The problem with that is that um like number one, who gets to decide what is and isn't pleasurable or good or bad? You know what I mean? What's pleasurable to one person is painful to another and vice versa. But, and even though I still don't agree with John Stuart Mill, the rule based utilitarianism of um John Stuart Mill is better. I mean, I still think it runs into this to the same problem in the sense that okay, the rule a rule might be a more, I guess, stable criteria, right? Like, dealing with a rule which you can analyze concretely rather than just going case to case like Bantam is a way is a whole lot better way um to deal with the the subjectivity portion of classical utilitarianism, although it doesn't solve it, like I said, because rules can also be subjective. um I can better understand that. um and then there's the other fact that in both cases, like, you can use utilitarianism to justify some pretty effed up stuff, man, like messed up. um oh, you can say, well, oh, it's better for for one group of people, that they should be set apart from society for the benefit of all others. And you know like, if you can make a convincing enough argument for that it's in the best interest of others, well, then you can make that um you can have that guide you and guide societies. But of course, the problem is that, again, that's less uh an object of objective fact or something than that than it is like rhetoric, right? You can, if you're good enough rhetorically speaking, you can convince anyone of anything. It doesn't matter how much you know or how qualified you are. That's why people dislike technocrats, right? Even, bro, Socrates said this in Gorgias. Like, we've known that for literally thousands of years. Um To me, the utilitarianism and sort of hedonism, because I do think that, utilitarianism or hedonism is the direct consequence of utilitarianism. Um, is John Rawls' liberal utilitarianism, where you look at things from a veil of ignorance. Once again, I still think there are the same problems with that, but it's way better, right? Because things are way more equitable. It's less prone to like having people um abuse it, because the veil of ignorance is kind of a metaphor for, the sorts of things generally, in my opinion, that all humans need: food, water, uh, a community, stuff like that. So that type of Rawlsian utilitarianism, I get, but and this is where I move into my critique. There's even some sacrifice which may not be pleasurable even as it's at its end. Like, for example, and I know not everyone does this, but a lot of people do, and I'm using my own personal experience. What about the people that choose to have an intellectually disabled child and raise it and have them be a part of their family? Like, they're obviously sacrificing a lot in terms of time, money, and um lots of people will say, "Oh, well, the sacrifice maybe isn't even justified because you as a parent, let's say, will not get anything out of it, right? Um and neither will your child. But for one thing, like, brothers and sisters, it's not about whether or not that child will become great or whatever. It's the fact that it's a part of you and you love it and you care for it. And there really is no, as much as I may not like it sometimes, as much as I may think that, things like love are irrational and they make people do crazy things. I think of that, of these types of situations, and the love that lots of parents show for their disabled children, and like, it it all makes it worth it. It all makes it worth it. And of course I'm biased because my parents did that for me. Yeah, I have however many degrees. I like, I'm quote unquote smart apparently, but it's like, bro, I'm not, I don't really do that much. But, you know, my parents and my family and my then the few friends that I have love me, and that's enough. It has nothing to do with pleasure or the suffering that I've been through. And I mean, I don't know. I guess that in this period of time, in our hyper consumerist, hyper capitalist, hyper money obsessed culture, I would like very much advise people to try to look beyond that. Try to look beyond pleasure, beyond suffering, beyond utility, all of that stuff, guys. Because in the end, there's more to life than just pleasure and pain. And there are a lot of things which are worth sacrificing your pleasure for. Even if it may not seem like it right now, I promise you. Alright, bye.